Doom.
Where were you, Doom?
I'm just trying to get in an opening.
Let's talk about. Well, I don't know. I had this in my notes. I don't know if it's worth talking about right now, but Aaron has gotten so dumb when it comes to this positive test, where it started off with he thought that meant there was cocaine on a little girl's head when it first came back.
Or he kissed her on the head.
Right, and there was coke on there, and now he's saying that there's no way, he doesn't know how drug testing works. He's like, well, there's no way it was incorrect because it showed that she was like a habitual user and using it every weekend. It's just like, wait a second, now you're an expert on hair follicle testing for drugs?
To punctuate the point behind all of this, I have never been accused by the state of doing anything of the sort.
Right.
Ever. And I never will. And it's one of the most frustrating parts of this is that I will never have an opportunity to defend that allegation. Okay, I just won't. And I'll never get to ask them, how do you think it happened? Now, I have on video officers who handled allegedly illegal substances with their gloves on mere minutes later touching her hair.
So there is video.
I have that on video. That video is currently part of a case that should be wrapping up sometime around February. But I have that. What I know is that aside from that, there is no plausible way that occurred. It could have been a lab sample error.
Yep.
One of the things people pointed out is we had all of the lab techs at the lab listed as potential witnesses in one of that may be subpoenaed. The reason is because in all of this time, we have still not been provided discovery around that test. All we have is a sheet of paper. They didn't provide discovery of any confirmatory tests. They didn't provide a record of methodology that they used to do the test.
We get it. You feel bad.
Yeah, but
they didn't provide a fail rate for the lab, a sample swap rate. Every lab has a fail rate and sample swap rate for like, what if you accidentally spill something in the sample? Like that happens. No human error occurs, and they have an
Wuhan
actual rate for it.
Is something that we've seen happen. Yes.
But I mean, you're saying, Nick, I know you're throwing like about this, but it's what I'm trying to say is like the touching the hair. What they tested for was metabolites, not the presence of cocaine.
Yeah, right.
On there.
Look, people don't have to believe me on this. There are like 7 metabolites of cocaine, and there's one of them. There's just one. It's benzocagnine or something like that,
and it's awesome.
No, if you go read, drug testing is nowhere near as like robust as people think it is. They don't know what most of it means. Sweat patch testing, they don't even know how it actually functions. But anyway, this particular metabolite, benzocagnine, there are papers out there, and it's hard for them to test this, but it metabolizes outside of the body on skin in damp conditions, usually quoting the paper on a sweaty scalp or in a sweaty area like an armpit or something like that. So the actual metabolite starts to occur outside of the body. There's no need for it to be ingested. Now, if you're talking about norcocaine or one of the alcohol accompanying metabolites of cocaine, those do require to be in the body as far as testing goes. And again, like I have to put something together on this at some point with citations because I know people don't believe me. But again, part of it, when you don't get to fight this, like I hired an expert to do this, but we didn't get a chance to fight it. There's nothing we could do to make it happen.
I totally understood. Actually, I've heard you make this case before, and so it's been dropped. They said there's nothing here, so that's all that we know. There's nothing there. I thought it was really funny that all of a sudden Aaron was on the show as an expert on how drug testing works after he had no idea how drug testing worked. He didn't understand that it was a hair follicle and not just
he
licking the scalp and going, "Oh yeah."
He allegedly believed that I convinced him that you're here and cocaine brings you to here.
Right.
And that allows you increased like so. As an expert, he was convinced by a high retard that that's what happens in his
you
world.
get
Like
quick-
that's what must have occurred. And now he's like, let me tell you about how drugs work.
After March, when this is done, do you get the cocaine back?
Oh, good question.
No, unfortunately,
You
I
get 20
don't
minutes of
think
the evidence locker to do whatever you want. We'll turn the cameras off.
so funny story.
Scrooge McDuck in the safe.
Funny story. There's a chunk missing.
Ah,
Spy report. Spy report.
Your cocaine comes in chunks.
Some of
Nick?
it that they alleged existed when they left my house.
maybe Aaron thought
Does
it was
not
cum.
exist. It's not in evidence. There are no pictures of it. It's about 2 grams.
Did you talk to your
that
daughter?
they say exists. And well, guys, you said there's like 2 grams of stuff, and it's gone. It doesn't. Who knows what happened to it? But it's not anywhere. It exists
Oh,
only
come on.
this
You
picture.
know what happened to it, Nick. Come on, Nick Spin. Tell everyone what happened.
Nick, I want to change gears real quick. I heard you on the Dick Show last month, and you were talking about, like, Dick was asking you a lot of questions about, okay, once the legal issues are behind you, what's next for you? So I had a couple of questions. One is, what is the date when you finally get this all figured out with your case?
I don't know the precise date that it'll all be done. I have a plea hearing on the 24th of January. So the way it works in Minnesota, I'll make a plea, a guilty plea on the 24th. And then that will then kick off a sentencing investigation by the court. They need to basically make sure that I'm not like lying about something or misrepresenting something, that the sentence that's agreed upon is appropriate. And then there'll be a sentencing hearing. That could be as short as a week. It could be another month. So probably in February, once the sentencing hearing takes place and I'm officially sentenced, then any conditions of that sentencing will kick off and get started.
God,
and
this takes forever. I want it to happen 3 months ago. This is ridiculous.
I wanted at my last settlement conference, when we got everything worked out, I said, let's go. Let's just put it on the record right now. I would like to get started. I want to move on with my life. But I can't talk about the specifics of why, but part of my plea agreement involves something that the judge has to ask me specific questions on to make sure that I wasn't like coerced or threatened to do it. So, and the judge just wasn't prepared at that time to ask those questions. This sounds like cryptic and weird, but it's not. Like, it's just part of the process to make sure that my rights aren't being violated by a lawyer or by some other coercion or something like that.
Gotcha. So
admit it. Say everything. Say everything you did. Why won't you say it? What are you afraid of?
It's like I've wanted to talk about like what happened forever, but you got to exercise your legal rights. And part of that, you just have to protect what you've got until the appropriate time.
We all understand that. Yes.
Yeah, no one questions it.
Right.
I
already told everyone.
Nick, I need you to plea and get this done within a week. And this is 2 days after I get out of jail. They're like, within a week, you need to get this cleared up. I'm like, do you realize that I live in the smallest county you've ever heard of? And like, they're just not prepared to do it within a week. Plus, we didn't even start getting discovery until July.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like, I don't even know actually what their case is. I have no idea. I can't just go in. Like, I physically can't go in and plead guilty to facts that I don't know that exist.
But I told everyone the facts already. Just admit it.
Thank you.
Tell me when I'm
Tippy
telling
Toe.
lies. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Because that's my follow-up question. When you were talking to Dick about this, you're like, what's your approach going to be? Because there's been every story we've heard has come from one perspective so far, and there are 3 other perspectives at least on
We've
what
got
happened.
one story from Nick's perspective.
How many more do you need?
So what I want to know is, like, everyone's going to be tuned in to find out what your take is on this. You've talked about how Aaron's made himself the protagonist and the hero of every story. It was actually somebody else with these stories that he's telling. So will you, when you're able to, finally open up and tell us what happened?
Within reason, yeah. But the hard part about it is, and this is something that Aaron doesn't like have any concept of, is that there are there are two other people in this story who have not been vocal. One in particular who has said literally nothing. And there are parts of stuff just relating to me that those things have reflections on those people and how people will perceive them, and they just want to move on with their lives. Like, it's not Aaron's like, no, I'm just telling my story. Like, I was great. 3 other people were criminal
scumbags.
murderer, child
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, I'm
It's
just
literally
talking
how he
about
painted
my
it.
experience not raping children. Like, I just,
Why
but
he
like, there were
did it?
3 other people there. It's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Like,
Even before he told the stories, Nick, I couldn't believe it. He's just like, yeah, April decided to take one route, and I decided to go the good way and do all the great things. And someone else did the opposite of that. It's like, yeah, we know what you're saying.
We get it.
Yeah.
Hit the follow button, hit the like button, and be like, hey, yeah.
Fuck Doom. Doom fucking sucks. Doom never includes me in anything. He's a
Piece of shit Doom, loser Doom, dipshit Doom.
When I'm Doom, I'm stupid. I'm a dumbass. My name's Doom. I ain't got nothing to do except troll.
No wonder why they call you Doom.